CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. A priest who was dismissed from a U.S. church only to be accepted by a Canadian one is now on trial in Victoria for sex crimes against children. Father Phil Jacobs is charged with sexual assault, sexual interference, and sexual exploitation. Testimony in court today focused on Jacobs' journey to Vancouver Island and how he was able to put down his religious roots here despite questions about his past. CTV's Joe Perkins has the story.
You'll be okay. You'll be all right.
They arrive well before the trial begins. A former priest.
I really, I saw the priesthood like being a knight.
And a victim of sexual assault at the hand of a former Catholic priest.
Lots of things happened that were inappropriate before and after Mass.
Together, they prepare for the trial of Father Phil Jacobs. They don't know him or the children involved, but say the case strikes a chord. Jacobs is a former Catholic priest, arrested and charged in August of 2010. He faces 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of sexual interference, and 1 count of sexual exploitation. The charges involve 3 Greater Victoria children under the age of 14. The accusations date back to 1996, when Jacobs began serving as a priest in Victoria. Also serving in Victoria in 1996, the first person to take the stand today, Monsignor Michael Lapierre.
Lapierre's testimony focused on the events that led up to Jacobs' acceptance into the Catholic Diocese of Victoria. He testified that the diocese was fully aware of misconduct allegations filed against Jacobs that dated back to his time at a church in Columbus, Ohio.
But even with the allegations, which were unproven, Lapierre says Jacobs had appealing credentials, including a doctorate. So in 1995, Jacobs was brought aboard. The court heard today how Jacobs was initially kept away from children and given administrative duties at St. Rose of Lima Church in Souk.
Gee, let's send him to that community. That, it boggles my mind. Sorry. I apologize to the people in Souk who the church thought that we'll give him to you. You can have him.
Nearly 3 years later, Jacobs was reassigned to St. Joseph the Worker Church and Elementary School in Saanich. Testimony revealed limitations on Jacobs were never discussed. Instead, Lapierre testified that Jacobs was frequently monitored. Critics say that wasn't enough.
I'd like to know how much they really monitor. And let's get into the detail. Are they calling him up every hour? Are they going to the rectory and checking to make sure he's at the rectory at night at 10 o'clock? No.
Victims of sexual assault say they plan to use the trial as a forum to share their stories and raise awareness of sex crimes against children. The trial is expected to last at least a week.
CTV's Joe Perkins joins us now live with more. Joe, also testimony today from the principal at St. Joseph the Worker School at the time that Jacobs was there. What did he tell the court?
That's right, Hudson. Kenneth Mason took the stand this afternoon. He was principal at the school for 30 years and told the court today he was close with Jacobs, knew him well, and regarded him as an up-and-comer in the Catholic Church in Victoria. He was questioned about Jacobs' comfort level around children. Mason noted that it seemed Jacobs was uncomfortable around young children back at his time at St. Joseph's. This was the first day, though. Tomorrow, we're expected to hear from a former student of Jacobs, and many more people within the Catholic Church in Victoria.
All right, we'll be there. Joe, thank you.
You're welcome.